And we're
Hello.
back.
Hi, everybody.
Whoa.
Good afternoon.
Sorry.
What is that?
Carl's phone's going off already. Emergency
Yeah.
alert.
No, it's 7 a.m. here, so that was my alarm to go and wake the teenager for school. So
But do
Wake
you not
up.
need to go wake up the teenager then?
no, he wasn't well yesterday. So if he wakes up for school, he wakes up. If not, he can stay in bed. So
Or you take the camera, you wake him up, and we see.
We're live.
live interview when he's just getting up. No, we probably don't want to subject the public to making into my teenager's room at 7 in the morning.
Definitely not.
Let's not do that. Well, lads, it's great to be back. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Is it still appropriate on the 24th of January to say Happy New Year?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Happy
why
New
not?
Year.
Happy
And
New
Happy
Year.
New Year to everybody that's watching. Thanks for joining us, and welcome back to Cloud Native Weekly for 2025.
Yeah, we're gonna do
it's
things
good
a
to be
little
back.
different.
Yep.
Yeah, we're
Tiny
not-
bit.
Tiny bit. I think we settled on not doing 10 minutes in tech because we feel it doesn't get the time it deserves. We always go over time and want to tell more about it. So we'll
Yep.
probably do dedicated videos on specific tech. And here we just talk about the news, we chat, which we do quite well and for quite some
Yes.
time. So we're still going to stick with 30 minutes. It would take a few, but yeah, happy to be back.
All right. So what have we been up to?
Yeah, Richard, what have you been up to?
Yeah, so I had a late start to the year because I was on holiday for New Year's. Didn't start work until the 13th, so I've not been back too long. But I've done quite a bit of Kubernetes work, Bicep, prepping for some bits and pieces. Did a blog post or two. I think it was two. It may have only been one. And yeah, it's just sort of slowly getting back into the world of work, basically, and getting excited about KubeCon EU because that's not too far away now.
London, right?
Yeah, super close to home. I can finally do Kube Train.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. What about you,
I
Carl?
don't like trains.
So yeah, well, work is busy. Like Richard said, I'm back since the 2nd of January, but yeah, we're like 3 weeks into January, and I'm still trying to get up to speed and get the full motivation levels back after a break at Christmas and New Year there. So Christmas and New Year was busy here. So if you don't know, I recently moved to Michigan with my family, so we hosted our first full family Christmas in ever. So we had quite a number, and we have a big family here, so we had quite a number of people join us for Christmas, and then we spent New Year with some more of our family in North Carolina. Having it be in American money 60 plus degrees in North Carolina in January was interesting. It was new for me. So, but now it's snowing there, so it feels like it's back to normal.
What's that in normal numbers? 60 degrees. That's far.
17 or 18 or something like that, right?
Oh wow, that's not too
I mean,
bad.
for January, that's pretty good. So we come back first. We come back up north to ice and snow at the beginning of January, end of the first week, and straight back into work. With work wise, we've been doing. I'm still focusing on that same client, building that trading SaaS or trading platform on Azure.
Nice.
It's pretty interesting. Now we're focusing on what the next iteration or the next generation of their architecture looks like. So I'm helping them quite a bit with what their target architecture, North Star architecture looks like. So we're looking at AKS, we're looking at multi-region AKS, and we're looking at lots of cloud native goodness, but we're paying particular attention to the mission critical architecture bits that Microsoft put out in the well architected framework, which is,
Nice.
I mean, some of the docs in well architected framework aren't terribly detailed or not enough detail, but the mission critical stuff is really detailed, and it's really interesting to read if you have a few hours to spare. So,
yeah, maybe some bedtime reading.
It's certainly a rabbit hole to go down. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty busy start to the year, and we're pushing towards production go live as well in the current architecture. So all
Nice.
all busy.
So, question for you: you said multi-region. Are you going to look at ways to manage all these clusters, or you just?
We sure are. So right now we are looking at AKS Fleet Manager, so the Fleet Manager stuff. But one of the things we'll mention later is Cube Fleet, which is the foundation for Fleet Manager and AKS. So that's an option as well if we want to run our own stuff and have it be fully open source and not vendor tied, So that's pretty interesting. And on Fleet Manager, I have a session coming up with the guys at Cloud, Come Cloud with us. So Chris and team there. So yeah, that's beginning of the next month. So 10th of February, I'll be doing a session on Fleet Manager. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully it's not too late in the evening for us non-Americans.
I can't even remember what time it's at.
I think it's like at 7
It's probably midnight or something UK time, which is unfortunate. But it is streamed to YouTube, so you can watch it the next day.
Watch out. No bullying you live then.
No, you can't bully me.
I might put an alarm for that, actually. Just to do that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Bring it on.
All right.
What about you, Wesley? What have you been up to?
Well, I had some time off in December, back in January 2nd. Spent my time of 3D printing stuff. I decided as a spur of the moment thing to buy a 3D printer, and then there it is. Yeah. I 3D.
All 3D printed.
Hang on, you 3D printed the GitHub lamp?
Yeah, because you can't buy it. You have to. We were at Ignite in Chicago, and the GitHub booth had one.
Right.
I was like, so how do I get one? So we're not selling them. You have to build one your own. You have to 3D print it.
That's awesome.
So what I did was I 3D printed that, and there's a GitHub repo for this as well. I think it's the Octolamp GitHub repo. Maybe we can find it. It's done by Martin Woodward, and he documented it really, really well. So what do you need to order? I had to order a LED strip. I had to get the right filament. I had to have a 3D printer with the right sizing. So I got all that. And then I bought a soldering iron, which I had not done for like 20 years or so. So, and then a little ESP board where you put on the WLED software. So it's basically like a do-it-yourself thing. It was cool. It was very cool to do, and you can change it to a million different colors. Right now, I'm in the process of setting up Home Assistant on a Raspberry Pi, then connecting it to my GitHub account, and whenever I will do a pull request or successful push or an action fails or something, I want a webhook to be triggered and it starts flashing something. So
that's pretty cool. Are you telling me I'm going to have to get a 3D printer now just so I can have one of those lamps?
Oh yes, you have to do that. Yeah.
Or get Wesley to send you one.
I think the wife acceptance factor might be better if I get Wesley to make it for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I might. No, it's a fun project, and to be fair, if you have the equipment, it's really not that expensive to make.
Right.
And 3D printing itself is just fun. I mean, and then I went a little overboard, and I thought, oh, now I want to print Pokemon and paint them, so I bought an airbrush as well, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that
all in.
So is it you spent your break doing high tech crafts, pretty much?
Yeah, I spent my break completely geeking out, which was a lot of fun.
That's pretty cool.
And then the last couple of weeks, customers starting to wake up again after Christmas holidays and all that. So new projects, lots of AKS stuff actually. That was cool.
That's awesome. Right. Yeah. While I sit here and looking at your lamp in jealousy, shall we talk about some news?
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. Not banners. Oh, it's media assets now.
Media assets.
You can tell that it's been a while since we've done this, right?
Yeah. But let 3, 2, 1. Yeah, baby. Still got it. All right.
Next time it'll be a bit smooth, I'm sure.
Yep. All right, who wants to go first?
What have we got from new?
Yeah, let's have a look. Here we go. So CubeFS or CubeFS has graduated in the CNCF, which is cool. So it's like file systems and stuff like that. Good for if you're running like databases and stateful workloads inside Kubernetes, which more and more people are doing now, which is cool to see. Yeah.
All right.
And then I think what else we got in the list? Let's pick this one. KubeCon EU, the schedule's gone live, so you can go and check it and find out all the sessions you want to go and watch, which is cool. Like, there's quite a few sessions already. I've been going through it, trying to find the sessions that I want to watch. Probably won't watch when I'm there, but will watch on record afterwards. Always happens. I always have the best intentions to go to all these sessions, and I never go.
So are you both going this year? Or?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm going by train to London.
That's really cool.
Kube train as well. Nice.
I know that's a Kube train.
Any sessions that stand out to you in the schedule already?
So I've been looking at the schedule. Richard, what popped out for you?
To be honest, I've not even looked. I'm looking forward to the Kubernetes AKS day. But that's about it so far. I need to have a look. I really do. But yeah.
The pre-day is always good. The AKS pre-day is always very, very good. I've been looking at the schedule, and not like specific session. What popped out for me is where last year it was all AI and what are we going to do with Kubernetes and AI, and now it's more detailed, like the more the NVIDIA GPU stuff, but also the custom LLMs and what popped out for me as well was AI observability.
Right. Okay.
So it's more you can tell we progressed in the year, like building AI stuff on Kubernetes and more practical use cases, more mature products. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. Kubernetes moving forward and for the last while is a key enabler for AI for all sorts of businesses of all sizes. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out at KubeCon EU. Awesome.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to have any agents, because we're seeing a lot of agent-based stuff now. So I wonder if there's anything there. I'll have a little look and see if I can find some. Maybe I'll do a tweet about my sessions that I want to go and see.
All right.
You should. I think we should see agent. I mean, agentic AI. I mean, it's coming, or it's here, and it's getting better. It's maturing. But that's more about like smaller and I know fit for purpose models. Like that's what you need to do. So they're smaller. They're more likely to run in a container. That they're more likely to scale. And you have more of them. And when you talk scaling, you talk Kubernetes. So sounds like a good fit.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
KubeFleet has been accepted into the CNCF sandbox, which is cool. But if you Google KubeFleet,
there's a bit of confusion there, right?
Yeah. The name needed a bit more work, I think.
So I think this one developed originally by Microsoft, by a team at Microsoft, and is the underpinning for their fleet manager stuff, as we talked about earlier. But if you have a Google on KubeFleet, you'll notice a website, kfleet.io, which is like a GitOps-ish platform for multi-cluster management. So similar, but GitOps focused multi-cluster management sort of stuff by Platform 9. So yeah, and it's the top thing. So if you Google KubeFleet, that's at the top of the list, which is a little frustrating if you're trying to get to trying to get to the now Sandbox, donated to Sandbox, to CNCF, and then Sandbox KubeFleet, formerly from Microsoft. So yeah, I mean, I want to get to I'm doing the session on the 10th of February, but I want to maybe do an article or two on KubeFleet itself, so running the open source version in your own clusters and see what that looks like. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I remember back in the days of when KubeCon was in Detroit. I think, it was Detroit. So a little while ago, KubeFleet is like just come out, or Microsoft's version of it had just come out, and it was so bad. Just say, it was not great at all. But this version that they have now, they put so much effort in it, can do so much more. Like, you can have it as your entry point, and it can load balance across different clusters. It can do some special routing and stuff like that.
That's one of the things I want to look at is the routing across multi-clusters and stuff for this mission critical stuff that I'm working on. And I was just about to click that comment from Nuno. I don't even know whether you say that Suze or Susie, but the Rancher folks have a fleet thing as well within the Susie org. So, maybe we don't all call them fleet, perhaps.
This company.
Yes.
How do you pronounce it, though?
yeah.
Right enough. Can anybody type in the YouTube chat or comments about how you phonetically say that? So that's why I said Rancher, because I know how to say.
I'm going to say Susa.
It's German, so you need to put in a little German accent. It's actually the first Linux distribution I used in production.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Nuno. So you're right. Susa.
I
learned something today. I'll stop calling it Susie.
So it's not Susie. It's not Linux Susie. It's not.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, Fleet obviously is a good name for this multi-cluster Kubernetes management stuff. It fits in with the whole container ship theme, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we don't. Maybe we find a different name if we're all going to call them Fleet. Gets confusing. Right?
Yeah.
Have you ever used Rancher though?
I use Rancher Desktop quite a lot.
I've used Rancher a bit back in the day when I was first starting with Kubernetes and stuff. Now it's just easier for me to spin up AKS because I got code to make it easy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna on stream go through my sock drawer, but I think I have some Rancher socks still, like the cows with the parachute.
Yeah, I have those still too. Some good swag, man.
I need to get myself more nerd socks, is what I'm hearing. All right.
Oh, you should have gone to Chicago Ignite. I got so much socks.
So many. I've got those socks on right now.
What, the Azure ones?
Yeah. Which is good. Nice.
All right. More news.
Yeah, let's.
Yes. So we all know Kaido, right? Which is developed by Microsoft, but it's also open source, so it's used and you can do it as an add-on and do it the AKS way, but it's also an open source product, and it's now supporting retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. And what it allows you to do is grab a model, run it, and we could already run the model on Kubernetes, and then you can do you can talk to it, you can chat with it, you can do the inferencing, but now you can also add your own data. So instead of having to retrain a model or build your own model and put that into Kaido, you can now have it use your data, so you can extend the model on AKS without, basically what you can do with Azure OpenAI services, but the open source way and
that's cool.
The more cloud native way. Yes, that is. So if you talk about agents, and you have LLMs and you have agents and you have RAG, and this is when the use cases become bigger and bigger with Kaido. I think for me, other than the sandboxes of OpenAI, solutions like Kaido are the future of using AI at scale.
Every time you say RAG, I always think red, amber, green. Just
Why?
like from when I was filling in all these Excel forms back in the day, you always had the red, amber, green.
End of week project updates.
Yeah. Get your RAG reports out and all that stuff. Yep.
You work in finance or what?
No, but I used to help with the finance stuff, and when you work for big businesses and that, they like that kind of stuff.
Work for big businesses.
Yeah. A lot of paperwork for nothing, really. But the next bit of news is Podman Container Tools and Podman Desktop is now being accepted into the CNCF sandbox, which is really cool. It's good to see Red Hat donating that. Considering Red Hat is like the biggest contributor to the CNCF, it's good to see them doing more. Yeah.
When did that happen? I was scanning through the
when I was looking in
the
repo,
repositories and the issues, and I didn't notice that myself. Actually, I must have skipped past it.
I think it was very recently. I'm just looking at it now. When did the vote pass? Last week, the vote passed. I think.
It's pretty cool.
Well, the biggest surprise is Red Hat giving something away, right?
So let's play nice.
Yeah. Like I say, they are the biggest contributor, so they do give a lot away.
They are the biggest one.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we have one for Carl.
Penelope.
So
all right.
10 seconds in the chat before we go. 10 seconds.
All right.
Why Penelope? Does someone know within the next 10 seconds? Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
All right. Well, I was about to get you to explain why it's called Penelope, but we'll wait for somebody on the chat. But yeah, some things that pop out from the release blog, which you can find at kubernetes.io/blog. It's one of the fairly recent ones. So 1.32, or codename release name Penelope, was released in sort of early mid-December. And some of the things that pop out at me is a specific quality of life improvement around the image pull back off error. So usually when you're looking at your pod spec and stuff, and you're seeing the most recent status and you're seeing image pull back off, there's not really much more information, right? So the change here is to give more context in the reason field, which I'm looking forward to. So that's going to be quite useful when you're diagnosing and debugging issues, right? And another really cool one, Richard, maybe you want to comment on, is the pod level requests and limits.
Yeah. So before, you would put your requests and limits per container inside your pod, and then you'd hope you got it right and stuff, and they weren't able to share it. So sometimes you would overcommit your pods because you had your init container, which had a request and limit, and then your main container or your sidecar. But now with this one, it's pod level, so you can actually share these requests and limits between all your containers underneath it. So, it's going to help reduce your cost of your nodes and stuff like that, because you can actually specify the amount of compute power you actually need rather than overestimate, which is really cool.
All right. So would we say that's transformative to how we manage resources at the container level, the pod level?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to take a little while for people to understand it, I think, and change their config files to it. But I think, if people do that, they're going to see a change for sure.
All right. And one final thing I want to call out before we start talking about whether we're testing with 1.32 yet to see how it impacts our workloads and our clusters. But Windows, there's some Windows news in this latest release. For a long time, we haven't had graceful shutdowns of Windows nodes inside of Kubernetes clusters. And with Penelope is now allowing us to do graceful shutdowns. So allows for graceful termination. I mean, I know you guys, having worked for you, Wesley, in the past, have some customers that are running quite a few Windows containers. So how does this impact customers who are all in on Windows containers and Kubernetes?
We're gonna see how that goes.
Thanks.
Yeah, fine. I don't want to talk about Windows containers, but no, we do have some customers with Windows containers at scale. I mean, graceful shutdown, will probably be beneficial. I think in the Windows 2022 support brought a lot. That is, for me, that is when Windows containers became better.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Linux containers is still the target, still that North Star, because in the cloud anyway, it's cheaper, less resource hungry and all the rest of it, usually less attack footprint, right, or less attack vectors that people can get into and cause you trouble. So Linux should still be the target, but some workloads can't run there or need a significant amount of work before they do. So Windows is still a good viable option as a stepping stone, right?
Stone, yeah, exactly.
As long as you don't stop there.
Yeah, and wait for the flood. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, let's talk about this. Do we know?
Yes. So I'll just add a quick check. So the Podman tools include both of these as well. So that they have been donated and accepted into Sandbox as well, which is really cool.
All right. So, had anybody answered why it's called Penelope yet?
No.
All right. Well, that's our homework for next week is why it's called Penelope. Have we had a chance? Although it's only been released for a couple of weeks. Have we had a chance to play with this yet? Has it been released in the AKS space where we're most active? I haven't checked. So
I've not seen it in the release notes yet for AKS, but no, I've not played with it yet. I need to set up my kind cluster again. But I've brought a little microcomputer thingy. So I might use that and put it on there and just play with that.
All right.
We should.
So one of the other things that popped out at me as one final thing was that the back in November, Gateway API version 1.2 went GA. So given that most of the clusters that I'm interacting with are still heavily in with the Ingress API and specifically the Nginx Ingress, are we using Gateway API in the wild anywhere?
Not yet, because I'm waiting for Ingate to come out, which is Nginx version, the next version of Nginx Ingress.
It's using Gateway API, right?
Yeah, and they're going to call it Ingate, which is such a cool name.
Yeah.
But if you are using Gateway API, but you're currently using Ingress and you want to convert to Gateway API, there's actually a tool in the Kubernetes SIG Git repo called Ingress to Gateway. I think it is. Yeah. Ingress. It's just come up on my screen.
Is that
Ingress to Gateway?
Change your Ingress rules or objects into HTTP routes or routes?
Yeah.
Does it? Right. Okay. Awesome.
And it supports Cilium, Ingress Nginx, Istio, GCE, Kong, and Open API.
I mean,
quite a few.
It's billed as the next iteration in over Ingress API, but I think we need to try and speed up adoption. I know the Azure Gateway or Application Gateway for containers uses Gateway API, right?
And Ingress as well.
Yeah. So one of the I see Marino on the plug there about service mesh plug. Maybe talk about that in a minute. But one of the good things about the App Gateway for containers is that I believe it now has WAF support, which it didn't previously. Which now
it's in private preview.
Right. Okay. So once that comes out and moves towards GA, there's the reason why we can't really touch App Gateway for containers currently because there is no WAF support.
It's got WebSockets now, though.
I was just going to say it's WebSocket support finally, so that's good. And you can use there's a blog post on how to use Cert Manager with it as well, which is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So that's covered quite a bit of news. Anything else that pops out at us in the news for the last little while?
No, not that I can think of. To be honest, I didn't actually spend much time looking into the news 20 minutes before we went live, so we probably missed some news.
Yeah, we can't find and know everything. I did have a quick scan of the AWS updates and the Azure updates, and didn't see an awful lot. But it is the beginning of the year, so probably a bit quieter with releases and stuff. So we'll see what the next few weeks brings us.
Talking of AWS, one thing I don't know if we mentioned, we probably did in a previous one, which is really cool, is they have this hybrid node join now. So you can have a node, your cluster up in AWS and your node down on-prem, and it can join the cluster. And
are we doing stretch EKS clusters now, are we?
They don't call it that, but yeah.
While stretching it across,
Yeah. The control plane's still up in the cloud, but your nodes are anywhere you want, pretty much. And I think that's quite cool. And I'd like to see the other cloud providers sort of go down that route as well. Obviously, latency is going to be a bit of an issue, but I think I can see a need for it, especially like potentially if you're wanting to do multi-region, but you don't want to have two full clusters because it can be expensive, and management overhead and that, it could be good. Yes,
We
I will be
getting
in
chocolate
London.
then.
Yeah, I will definitely be in London, taking the train. Wesley will be there as well, also
Yeah.
taking the train.
And my wife and daughter as well, if you're bringing chocolate.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
bring an extra case of chocolate just for Richard and Wesley.
Bring chocolate.
Yeah. I'm
Now-
really excited for London. It should be good.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be in London for KubeCon this year. We
Maybe
have-
Atlanta
Yeah, well,
in November.
let's ask the bosses. We'll see.
Do we
Is
need
that the
to ask the
wife
bosses?
or your actual work boss?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's the both.
yeah, so I mean, I'll probably be in London later in the year because my client is still based in London. But so I'll shout out on social media when I am and see who's about, and we'll look to meet up. So there's before we look to wrap up, because we're at just over the 30 minutes now. There's Michael Levan. How are you? Auto and hybrid EKS is pretty solid. Nice to see EKS and AKS work together in hybrid environments. All right. What do you think? What do you think that looks like? Yeah.
Maybe we should try something like that. Get Azure VM joined to EKS cluster.
Yeah.
See what it's like. But well, Michael's here on the screen. Just want to say congratulations, Michael, on becoming a
Congrats.
Microsoft Azure MVP in Kubernetes and open source.
Long
Nicely
overdue.
done. Yep, we got there. I was with him at KubeCon in where was it last time? Salt Lake City, and we was filling up the form outside the conference hall, and that is quite fun. But yeah, well deserved, mate. Happy to have you.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's just over 30 minutes. And that's
Nice.
without our 10 or 25 minutes in tech.
Yeah, 40 of your Carl.
I think, I'm sorry, folks, if you like the 10-minute in tech segment, I suspect it's my fault that we're not doing it anymore, because I could never, ever keep to the 10 minutes. So I just get too excited talking about the tech. So
I don't blame you.
so
we're gonna do dedicated videos for the text.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Some dedicated videos. Some plans in the works on tech-torials or tutorials and stuff as well. So keep an eye out for that sort of stuff in the next few weeks. But I think this new format works. Plenty of space to talk about the news, plenty of time, and plenty of time to interact with the folks in the chat. So quite a few people watching. Awesome. Thank you for joining us this week. And check back on Emia's next week for another chat about what's happening in the cloud native world.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.